Hi guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. So today's video is gonna be different in a way, I guess. I don't know, but I'm technically reading a book. But what's different is the angle, because I forgot, you know them sticky stuff they keep advertising on TikTok, the suction extender arm thing that you can put your phone on. Yeah, so I remembered I had that just lying around, and I was like, let's film this video from a different angle, because again, I'm reading a book, so it's like I'm not gonna be talking much necessarily, except I have commentary. Actually, now I think about it, I tend to talk personally. Even when I read, I love, you know, classical music in the background while I'm getting into it, and then when God is being so kind to me, the crescendo of the music just matches when the stuff is starting to get interesting. I'm like, whoa, 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 you know what I mean? It just sets the tone, it sets the energy for that part of the story. But I've been wanting to read this book for
a few months.
I was reading other books and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna read it. But now, if my phone is recording and my iPad is charging, I have nothing else to do but to read the book. Do you know what I mean? This is one of the stuff I love about YouTube, because it's like, it technically makes me accountable, because I can't come on here and say, oh,
I'm gonna read a book and not read the book. Do you
know what I mean? Like, you guys are gonna be thinking, is she good? Like, is all good? I'm excited. Hope you're excited. If you have a book, get a book. Let's read together for all I care. Anyways, does that even help? Guys, this is hard, because if I put the thingy onto this, it's gonna fall, because the arm isn't strong enough to hold both of them. But anyways, this is the book we're reading. It's called Americanah by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. She's actually a really popular writer in Nigeria, by the way. So I'm looking forward to it. The blurb is interesting. Let's see if we can finish the book today. I read quick, but let's see. So far from the book, our main character is moving back from America to Nigeria, just because really she just feels like right now her life is too, like, it's peaceful, but you know how it's like them ones where it's like, because it's peaceful, you feel like that's not the life you want to live. She had like her man and everything, so she's just like, to her, she feels like she's in a really nice house, but then she sat by the window looking out, so she wants more to life. And she just feels Nige may give it to her. She had a blog, so she had to close down the blog as well. She's very like observant and sort of makes inferences about people, which is good, which I guess was needed for the blog. And then we meet her high school / university boyfriend, ex by the way. He's married. And no, I can already tell there's going to be emotional cheating. If there's no physical cheating, oh, so help me God. Because what do you mean? This man is married with a kid, by the way, and he got a message from his ex and he's getting all excited, he's getting all distracted. He's like, oh, that message, calculating American time to reply to the email. Like, sir,
that's suspicious.
Sir. And now even the way he's talking about his wife, he's like, oh, like, some of the stuff she does make me uncomfortable. I'm like, was this discussed? Like, oh, she doesn't ask questions, she doesn't do this. I'm like, very soon we're going to be like, oh, she doesn't do it like Madam Ifemalu. Oh, she doesn't do it like my ex. There's going to be comparison, and I can already tell. But so far it's actually very interesting. I'm actually going to be mad if they cheat, because I don't like the way this is going. She's trying to reconnect with him. He's very eager to reconnect,
and he has a wife and kids.
Then also the guy, Obinze, I believe is his name. Yeah, he became, well, he used to go to, he went to school abroad as well, and he came back, and then he met this guy called the Chief, and the Chief sort of put him on to, you know, business money. So he's very like cautious, because he's like, I don't want this man to tell me to kill somebody. Like, you know, we have morals. So he's a bit confused as to what to do. But obviously now he's rich, but it's like, he doesn't really know how to feel about being rich, because he didn't really grow up rich. So, but so far I like it. So far in the book, they had like a flashback scene, so we kind of see how she and her ex were like back in high school, and like see what she's had to go through, especially when she first moved in. We saw her auntie's backstory. That was crazy, but it's like, it was quite real. Like, that does happen, which is crazy. They also talks about, like, you know, Nines, like performative Christianity, the legalistic Christianity, just how like 9 people will do one thing, go to flipping, you know. Anyways, let's not get into it. But I spoke about that, which is good, I guess. I spoke about just the real stuff that happens in 9, the strikes at the universities, which is a bit strange. The guy's mom was strange though, because I was like, I don't know how real that is. I've never met any African parent that's very like, oh. Anyways, go read the book. It was just a bit strange. Like, she was just like, yeah, like, just let me know when you guys are ready to. I was like, oh, okay, good for you. But yeah, that's been good. Currently I'm on chapter 21. I did feel so bad for her, because obviously when she came, she was definitely going through depression when she was first here. Like, she had no job, her flatmates or whatever you want to call them were not helpful either, and I was like, at least make her life easier, you know what I mean? And I feel like the book analyzes the different kinds of people you probably would meet, like if you were to move to a different country for the first time, which was interesting. Like, all the dynamics and the way she talks about herself, the way she talks about other people. She gives slightly stubborn. She just seems like a very stubborn person, but not in, well, I don't know. You can be stubborn in a good way and bad way. Good way is she does like stand up for her beliefs, and like if you really push her to the edge, she will actually say something. So that's good. But then bad is just sometimes the way she acted. I was like, I don't know if it was you just being naive because you were like in a new country. But remember when she moved to America, and her aunt was kind of like, oh yeah, like do this or do that, and she was judging. She was just a bit too judgmental for me. She was kind of like, oh, but you know. And I was like, I hear it, but your auntie's not the same person she was, because back in 9, her auntie used to be like an escort to like this rich guy. Obviously he passed away, so she had to go to America for her own safety and for the child's safety. So obviously now she's moved to America, and her auntie's not really top of the food chain anymore. It's a bit weird, because now the auntie's a bit desperate, settling for anything, because you know she has bills to pay. She's like, oh, let me get married, he'll pay for the bills. Obviously it's not working out. It's not really. And obviously Ife Mali is very much like, oh, but why would you do that? And I'm like, girl, why wouldn't she? Like, she doesn't really have many options. So I feel like I'm finding it very hard to even judge any of them, even the main character. Like, I'm just making observations, because it's like, obviously what they're doing isn't right, but it's like they've more or less been pushed into a corner, which is making them act out. Because you can see the difference between the auntie when she had options and when she doesn't have options, and it's like it's the same person, it's just circumstances affecting her behavior, which is interesting to me. It is interesting to me. We're halfway done. Mr. Man in 9, what's going on? They haven't brought that man up in quite some time. As I said, I just didn't want cheating, but I feel like there's going to be cheating. There's already emotional cheating at the way it's going, because what do you mean you're You've come back from an outing with your wife, mind you, your wife, and you're saying, oh, let me look at the why are you looking at emails? You're a married man. But anyways, who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? Okay, so where I'm at now, there's a lot to unpack. So let's begin. Let's start slow. So right now she's found a job. She's babysitting for a friend, I think. The lady really likes her, you know, gives her a little bonus to help her. Here's my old car. She's very friendly, you know. Okay, that's all good and fine. So the lady's cousin comes over and he literally falls in love with her. She's a bit confused, like he's pursuing her. She's like, I ain't even got a few pennies to my name. Like, I'm still trying to settle down in this country. I have people at home to send money to. Like, it's not smooth sailing, but he's still very much like, no, love you, I'm curious. And he's white, so she's also very like, like, what do you really see in me? Like, your exes are giving Victoria's Secret models. Like, what do you want from me? She tells the lady that she was babysitting for, like, oh, and the lady's actually surprisingly really nice. She was expecting the lady to be like, oh, you can't date my cousin, da da da. But she's very nice. She's very like, oh, I wish you guys well, you know, hope all goes good, da da da. He cheats on her.
Absolutely disgusting, by the way. I almost puked, but let me stay focused.
And she's very much like, He's like, oh, it's a mistake, da da da. You know, begs, grovels, and she's like, fine. I'll take it back. Fine. You seem more intentional. He was actually more intentional. Like, after that, he started making up for everything else he's done, da da da. I was like, okay, interesting. Now, what happens if she cheats? Why does she cheat? She's like, oh, she just felt too, like, comfortable. Like, and her friend is like, do you see how stupid you sound? Like, that's self-sabotage. And she's like, no, it's not. Like, she just felt like he was too, like, you know, so she wanted a little, like, he's just too calm, he's too nice. The friend said, yeah, this one has lost the plot. Come to find out, mind you, she's still been thinking about this ex in mind that she literally she decided to ghost because, you know, she was depressed, life wasn't smooth sailing as she's expected, which is like, okay, that's fine. But for you to cheat on the current man that's actually being nice, this man actually wanted to marry her and everything, I'm just a bit confused. Don't get me wrong, I was even irritated when the man cheated because I was like, what's going on? My problem is the self-sabotaging, and I'm just like, damn, like, so what are you gonna do now? Because, you know, I've always wondered like, people that cheat, is it like,
How do you move forward in life? Like,
and that sounds crazy, but I've never been in a relationship before, so maybe I don't know how the, you know, emotional entanglements work when you start getting relationships and sticking around. So my question is, when cheaters cheat, like, how do they get in a new relationship? Because I'm assuming no one wants to be with a cheater, like, willingly. I mean, maybe context is important, but it's like, I don't know how that works. Like, what do they just, like, what happens to their partners? Is it like the future partners are aware and kind of like, oh, okay, don't let your past define you? And like, do they live with that feel of like, oh, what if he cheats again? He's done it before. Like, how do they, I'm sorry that I'm smiling, please, if anybody has been cheated on, I'm not smiling at the situation. It's just, I'm very curious as to how it works. Like, how, or do they just lie? Do they just act like they've never cheated before and just erase the person from their, you know, list of people they've dated? Like, how does that work? Anyways, back to my story. But then at the same time, it's like, her friend was obviously trying to be like, oh, do you just feel like you don't deserve good stuff? Like, do you feel like you have to struggle? Do you have to hustle? Because again, when she first came, she had to act as a prostitute for, well, I don't know if prostitute is the right word, but go and read the book and you find out. But technically, she had to act like a prostitute, but she sold her body technically to make money, to make ends meet. So it's like, I don't know if that sort of impacted the way she sees like relationships and stuff. Because even when the guy was talking about like, oh, being in a relationship, she was like, when did we discuss relationships? She liked it with no labels, just, you know. And I feel like we're just seeing sort of her personality crack going forward. But technically the whole thing starts with the fact that she's literally going to an African store to get her hair braided, and then you start seeing flashbacks, obviously her interactions with other customers, with the hairstylists themselves, and then this is also a flashback as to her relationship and how it was, etc. So it's like, obviously initially when she was introduced, we just see her as, oh, okay, she's just a regular Black American. Clearly we know she's not really a fan of America, because obviously the racism, she's very like, oh, you know, she had her own blog as well, like she's, you know, but then gradually we're starting to see why she is the way she is, and like, you know, what makes her her, if that makes sense. So now we're seeing his own backstory, his own development before he got to the point where he met the chief that gave him the job to be rich. So we're kind of seeing the struggle, and I feel like the struggle to find a job is so real. Like even in today, like, do you know how hard it is to find a job, guys? Even a simple summer job, do you know how hard it is to find a job? And I don't understand, because it's like, even he was talking about, because he was like really educated, like he was really intelligent and stuff, and he's talking about like, oh, he's seen people who don't even have degrees similar to his getting the job, and he's like, what's going on? And I was like, that's so real. Like I feel like with job applications and like interviews, there's no like set template they use. They kind of
I don't know how they do it. I feel like it just depends on their mood that day. Maybe they're feeling happy, they got coffee, good. If they haven't gotten coffee, yeah, like, I'm very confused. And he's so, like, making me think, like, how do they actually choose people to work? Because it's like, if you're not looking at my degree, or someone who doesn't have a degree is getting the job, like, what are you looking for? Well, surely the fact that I'm completed a degree shows I'm curious enough. And two, obviously, you know I need the job for money, so why are you asking me that question? Like, you know I need the job for money. But anyway.
And also, he couldn't come. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot. He couldn't come. Obviously, I said she moved earlier. The plan was he would, like, both of them, to be fair, would move to America after they graduated. But obviously, she left earlier than him, and he just couldn't go because of circumstances. Apparently, there was, like, the 9/11 situation, and then they're cracking down on like immigrants and people just trying to come in without papers and stuff. So he honestly couldn't come, and say that's also why he's stuck in line trying to get a job. He's a bit confused, and then he managed to come just for him to get deported. So I was like, oh, you both have gone through a lot. And I feel like my biggest question right now is like, if they meet again, are they going to rekindle the love? Because don't forget, like, because of so much that's happened to them, so many experiences, it's sort of shaped who they are. They're not the same people they were in high school when they were in love. They're not the same people they were in uni before they experienced life. So it's like, now that they've experienced life after, are they still gonna love like the new versions of themselves, if that makes sense? Like, I kind of want to see how it goes. And like, you know, we're almost done though. Okay, I have finished the book. I'm not a fan of that ending. I want another ending right now. It was no, guys, no.
I see nothing better than you.
So of course there was cheating, like I said there was.
Are you surprised? Why is that so, why is that so mind-blowing?
There was cheating because they first met and then boom, they're flirting. Mind you, you have a wife and a child waiting for you. I said, okay, well, it's not fine, but I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. They continued going on dates. Next thing we know, bam, they're getting it on. I was like, whoa. But you have a babes. You remember you had a babes, right? Like, and then obviously she brings it up. She's like, okay, this is too much. Like, you have a whole nother life. You have kids. You have family. I just have the job in you. No, that's not how it's gonna work. I was thinking, okay, like, anyways, she said that. So he's like, okay. He walks out. He's angry. He's kind of like, and then he comes back. He's like, you know what? You're right. And I was like, very good. I like that you admitted that she was right. And he was like, you know what? I understand, but it's like, I honestly have to take responsibility. Like, she's my wife. Though I said, oh. Thank God our main character was sensible. She was like, oh, then go. Like, she didn't say go, but it was just like, so he left, as he should. And she was angry because she was like, hello. So he's gone back home. Actually, I forgot. Before he left, during the argument that he had, obviously she was like, oh.
Does your wife know you're here?
He was like, silence. It was like, and he's like, oh, but you know I love you though. You know you love me. You know, like, this entire marriage to me was just something comfortable. I always knew there was something missing. Like, it was just very performative. Thank you, we found it. Performative to me. So I want you though. And she's like, well, you're married, unfortunately. You can't be wanting things you can't have. So now he's gone. She's angry. She's not really answering. Blah, blah, blah. So he goes home and he literally tells his wife, like, yeah, Carla, we need a divorce. Because, you know, I told you last time that the girlfriend was back. And she's like, oh, so you want to ruin the marriage? You want to ruin this family? Of course not. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to let that happen. Okay? We have a child. Divorce isn't healthy for children. And I'm not going to let that happen. So you're not going anywhere. And he's there like, oh, okay, so you knew. And she's like, oh yeah, of course I knew. I knew you were sleeping with her, but that's not gonna happen. Like, marriage is serious. So he's now a bit embarrassed because he's like, oh, she knew all this time. And I'm like, I don't know, what were you expecting her to do? Women aren't stupid, you know. You're coming late at night, going on little dates, your phone is off. And normally you're always on the phone. Hello, she's not dumb, she's not stupid. He is then chilling and she's now calling all her exes because she had a professor, she had the white rich guy, she had this, I've forgotten his name now. I don't know, but I know she had 3. So she's calling them to be like, okay, so like, you know, how you been? How's life? Obviously, the white guy, Kurt, that's his name, he's very much like, oh, I still miss you though, you know, like, it's never the same. She likes it. She's kind of like, oh, I like that you miss me, but like,
now that's what I'm talking about.
she's also asking for who was donating money, because when she had the blog, someone would always like send her a lot of money constantly. So she's asking around to be like, oh, who was it? None of the exes were the person. And then we find out it was, well, I feel like it's implied it's the ex that was sending her the money. Okay, that's nice, I guess. And then 7 months after the last, you know, issue they had, 7 long months, he's pulled up and he's like, oh, you know, like, I felt responsibility for her, etc. But I knew, like, we couldn't keep doing this. Like, we're just deceiving ourselves. It's not going to be a happy marriage. And I would rather, like, the woman be happy. Because it's, like, obviously, it's not her fault that he doesn't love her. So he doesn't want her to be in a marriage where she's just miserable as well. He doesn't want her to perform. Like, there's someone out there for her. So he was like, oh, he'd rather let her go than have a mistress and she's aware. Like, that's just not how it works. So technically he's planning to divorce her and he was like, oh, yeah, like, that's life now, like, I'm serious about you. And she's like, you know what, come in. And that's how it ends. What do you mean come in? What happened to the kids? What happened to the future? What happened to how she lived? What happened to the blog? Because she started another blog in Lagos, but it was just like about her life rather than race, because obviously race isn't a thing necessarily in Nine, which is so real, because even me as well, I can't lie, before I came to the UK I didn't know I was black. I just thought I was Nigerian and African. Like, I didn't know. I'd just say, I'll be like, oh, Disney Channel is American, Hank Zipser, oh guys, I loved Hank Zipser, that's British. That's all I knew. I never knew, oh, it was black, white. I was just like, okay, nice to know. But it was a nice book. I would give it an 8 out of 10. 8 because it was very real. I also made like a list of words because like the writer actually used big words, guys. I was seeing words I've never seen before. I literally had to be googling like meanings. Like, see, that's a whole dictionary. I was like, what does this mean? What do they mean? I think I wrote down 1, 2, 3, 5 words. So there was hectoring, discomfited, intransigent. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. I really should have just kept my mouth shut. The derision and nubile. But it made sense because she was a blogger, so obviously using the big words is natural to her. I was just there like, girl, I feel like a fish out of water. I'm having to back up the English dictionary to understand what you're saying. But those are the, you know, big. I think there were 2 other ones, but it's like, I've heard them before, so I just checked them in. I was like, oh, okay. But these ones are very new. I was like, whoa, what's going on? Today was a nice day. Imagine, guys, like, no phone. I was just really locked in, which is good. I may have to return to reading, because I used to love reading so much before. But then obviously as I started getting closer to God, I was like, I need to watch what I'm consuming, because some of the stuff I was consuming, really and truly, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Okay guys, hope you like the video. Like, subscribe and share. Okay, and share. Thank you.